Hey, it's Tom, and today we're going to talk about 5 houseplants that are not particularly common, they're not expensive, and I think they're well worth looking out for. So if you know anything about me, if you know about my website or you know about my videos, my general rule is I do not talk about houseplants that I've owned for less than 2 years. And the reasoning behind that is how can I help you to grow them? How can I tell you how to care for them if I haven't had the experiences myself? So that's kind of my rule for producing content. However, I have bought 5 houseplants. I bought a lot more than that, but there's 5 houseplants I bought within the last year that I really, really like. So far, everything about them is encouraging and so unusual. They're not expensive, relatively speaking, and at the moment, I'm quietly confident these are good plants. All right, let's get started with the first plant, which is this one. Although I said they're uncommon, this one of all the ones I talk about probably is the one that's most recognized, and it is Ficus shivereana moonshine, otherwise known as a rubber tree. Now, I've had rubber trees pretty much all my life. Even when I lived with my parents, we had a rubber tree in the dining room, and it looks very like this one here. This is not the same one, but it's very like this. It's the all green variety, which is very, very familiar, and most people watching here have probably seen one at some point. And this is a variety of that, and it's different. The leaves are, as you can see, really striking. They're really different. The pattern on them is different. The color is different. It's just really interesting plant, and it still has some of the familiar green in those patches. I've had it for about 3 months now, and I bought it for about £20, which is roughly $25. And yeah, the price has come down. It used to be really expensive, but it's much more reasonable now, in my opinion. And they're popping up in more places, so you may come across these. But I think they're great. I'm treating it like my rubber tree here, just how I would normally grow one. And so far, it's responding well. I've had 2 new leaves. It's pretty good. I like it. I haven't seen many people with a mature version of this plant yet. It could be because they're not the fastest growers, but they do come along at a steady clip. So yeah, we'll see how they get on with this one, and I'll report back in the future and let you know. So plant number 2 is this one here, which is the strap leaf Anthurium. And I really like this plant. Okay, so this has definitely been a surprise, I have to say. The price was around £30, so it's a little bit more on the pricey side, but still, I think not too bad for what you get. And in dollars, that is 45, I think, $45 around that sort of price. Again, I'm just giving you the prices I paid. They're very, very regional, so you might get it cheaper. It unfortunately might be a lot more expensive where you are, but I really like it. I've had this plant now for, I want to say about 4 months, and I've had it over winter. It's just coming into spring now where I am, and it's had 2 new leaves, and most of my houseplants do not grow in winter. They just don't grow. Don't know about yours, but mine just don't. It's produced this absolutely gigantic leaf over winter. I am so impressed and shocked. And it's got another one coming out now as well. Here's this one starting. I may need to zoom in with some footage to show you this, but it has really surprised me. And that's not all either. If I take this out of the pot, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the roots are literally, it was tiny, and the roots are already reaching the end of this pot, which is pretty large. And underneath it's circling. I have to show you some photos of that. So this plant grows fast. And I think there's even a third leaf possibly coming out already. Oh my goodness. It's cool. I really like this house plant. It's quite thirsty. Like I said, I'm not going to go into care details because I can't tell you everything about them, but I can tell you that this is mad. I need to find a better place for it to show off because this is huge. So yeah, this is definitely one that I'm really, really pleased about, and it's doing really well in my home. And from what I've read and what I've seen about other people who have these plants, they have similar positive experiences as well. Okay, plant number 3 is this one here, and it is a Euphorbia. And yes, compared to the other plants and the ones we're going to talk about next, it's very small, it's very petite, but it's incredibly cute. So I think this one was about £10, which is about $12. I can tell you its name is Euphorbia. I don't know the Latin name. I don't know how to pronounce the second part of the name now. I will put it on the screen so you can see it. If anyone can help me, if you know how to pronounce the name of this plant, because it is a mouthful, I'd love you forever if you could tell me. Put it in the comments and maybe do it phonetically, because I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this because I'm going to get it wrong. But it's very cute, okay? So why do I like it? Basically, it reminds me of a Pachapodium plant, but it doesn't have any spines or thorns to grab you. So it's nice. It's not as aggressive. It doesn't mind being touched. Not that you should touch them, but why I like it is because it has a caudex. And over time, it gets bigger, larger and larger and larger. And on this little one here, there's one with two little offshoots, but it should become really interesting shape. It's like, a bit like a pineapple. There's no other way really to describe it. It is very, very like a pineapple. Yeah, and when it gets bigger, that's what it should look like. I don't think I have any photos I can show you, but I will have a look and see if I can find anything that's available to show. If not, you just have to tune in again in maybe a year's time, and hopefully I'll have something more to show for it. Okay, so plant number 4 that we're on now is this one here, which is the snake leaf fern. Again, it has a Latin name, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, but please, I'll put it here. If you can help me out and tell me how you pronounce it or how you would pronounce it, just tell me in the comments. I will love you forever, ideally phonetically, so I learn. But yes, snake leaf fern. You might be looking at it and thinking, Tom, that's not very impressive. This is a cutting from the mother plant, which I did buy, which I'll show you shortly. It was £30, which is around $40, $45, and I've had it about 6 months and it just grows. It's super fast grower. It is great. Really, really good. Now, you might be thinking, fern, no, no, no. I don't do ferns. They don't do well in my home. I just stopped growing them. If that's you, if that's what you're thinking, this is why you need to look at this plant, okay? It is amazing. It is really good. It does not suffer from humidity problems, which many other ferns do. It does not have the brown leaves that drop all the time, Boston ferns and things like that. It's really tough, okay? And equally, you have the nice looking shape of the leaves or fronds that are very, very similar to most ferns. So it's got the nice look about them, but it's incredibly resilient and tough. And like I said, this is is a cutting from the original plant, the mother. There's a little one coming up now, but I'll show you that to you so you can have a look. So this is the one I actually bought that cost me the price. Look at it, it's huge. It's just very prolific. And like I said, look how fast it grows. This is one of the new ones that have sprouted up. Look at the size of it, it's huge. It's not as fast as the strap-leaf Anthurium, which we talked about earlier, but it does produce a lot of growth. And I don't know if you can see in the camera that the leaves are really glossy. They're thick. They've got a thickness to them. They're just really interesting. I really, really like this house plant, and I feel like if you're into ferns and you do like the shape of them and you like the idea of them, and you just can't grow them when you struggle, or even if you can grow them well and you want some extra, something a bit different, look for this one. This is definitely an impressive plant. So the final 5th plant on my list is Leplicium, and it's here. Isn't it lovely? It's great. It's a hanging plant. So we've talked about plants that you may put on the ground or on the table, and this is my final plant, and it's a hanging plant. Now, I like this. Now, the price is, now what I paid for it was around £25, which is roughly $30. However, I have a feeling I may have bought this plant just before it's become super, super popular and more expensive than maybe I paid for it. I've seen it again in shops, and it's gone up. It's double the price, maybe even slightly more for a plant of this, even a bit smaller than this size. So I think I got really lucky to be able to buy this at the price I did. Again, prices with houseplants are variable. They go up and down. So you could be looking at this video and saying, are you joking, Tom? I've seen this plant for £5 or something silly like that. But I'm just telling you as it is at the moment. So I like this. It's nice. It's just very, I don't know, ribbon-like. That's the word I'm using. And it covers the entire pot, depending on how I've turned it around. I just like how it's hanging down. It's so graceful and tranquil and just, yeah, it's good. And it's grown. It's not grown as much as some of the other plants I've shown you on my list today, but I think that's because it has, like I've been saying a few times now, it is winter, and a lot of my houseplants don't grow over winter. So it's the dormant season, especially for a plant like this, which is technically a tropical sort of jungle cacti. They're used to tropical warm temperatures, and it hasn't been like that right now. So I think that's why I'm expecting more growth. Now we're moving into spring. So again, like I said to you, I haven't owned these plants for a huge amount of time. I don't know all the little quirks and traits about them, but I can tell you I do like it. It's still alive, and I kept it going, and it has produced some small growth. There's some shoots coming up, so we'll keep an eye on those. But yes, this is just fantastic. If you're looking for a hanging plant, in my opinion, it's just the camera probably isn't showing it justice, but in real life, it's just it catches your eye. It looks amazing, and I think it's brilliant. And as far as I can tell, at this moment in time, it's incredibly easy going. Let's hope it stays like that. So yes, that is my 5 houseplants that are uncommon, but I think are worth looking out for. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are there any plants on my list that you already own and you have recommendations for me, some tips? Have you got any ideas of how I should raise them better, or just how? Tell me anything you know about them if you own them. And if you don't own any, have I piqued your interest in any of the plants that I've talked about today? So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.